Greetings, you're on MoviePlot and today we're going to take a look at the story of Season 4 of the cult series Black Mirror called The Metal Man. Get comfortable and we'll get started. The event is set in a post-apocalyptic world where, at the mercy of steel, robot dogs no longer have any room for both human and animal life. Along the road, a car moves leisurely, in which the three survivors, Bella, Tony, and Clark, are on their way to the warehouse to pick up a stuffed toy for a little boy. Bella desperately needs to fulfill the promise she made to her sister, namely, that she would take care of her child, who, apparently seriously ill. She hopes that the teddy bear will somehow to alleviate the boy's suffering, because he doesn't have more than a few days to live, to which Clark rightly remarks, "That's a crazy idea, he's dying anyway." But Bella quickly reassures the anxious friend by saying that the warehouse can be stocked up a bunch of other useful things, like batteries, while Clark tries to get the van. Tony and Bella try to sneak into the warehouse, guarded by a steel dog. After a few minutes of searching, they find the right box, but as evil stands on the very top shelf, and the heroes have to drag a huge ladder to get to it, all in a hurry. Because any minute now, a robot guard can appear at any moment. It would seem that the box is in their hands and it's done. But there's a deadly dog lurking just behind it, and he immediately fires the module into the air, which explodes into dozens of tiny fragments, some of them shattering into the face of a terrified Tony. And he falls down. Bella gets hit as well. The dog gets off the shelf and methodically kills Tony, but Bella manages to escape after all. By this point, Clark finally starts the car and the deadly chase begins, in which one of the heroes will have to lose his life. The dog finally catches up with Clark's van, and the boy begins begging the soulless dog to take pity on him. But it doesn't make any sense. With one shot, the robot decapitates Clark, and then takes control of the van to chase Bella's car off the track. And he almost succeeds. The car is about to plunge off the cliff. The robot who lost sight of Bella uses the scanner and quickly finds her, helped by a piece of shrapnel in the woman's leg. When the dog decides to climb into her car, Bella manages to fight him off and escape again. But because of her injured leg, Bella can't get far. So it's urgent to remove the shrapnel, or else the robot, which has already to free himself from the car that has fallen off the cliff, will quickly discover it. Bella extracts the beacon with a knife and pliers, stuffs it into a bottle and then tosses it into the river. The swift current carries the lightweight plastic away from the protagonist, heroine, allowing her to buy a little time. And while the dog is chasing the bottle, Bella tries to make contact on her walkie-talkie, but she can't make out a word. Then she leaves a message in which she tells her how they ran into the dog. That two are already dead. Bella admits that leaving the shelter was a stupid idea and she's very sorry. She asks him to send a message of love to none other than Graham, words of love, and warns that she may not come back. Meanwhile, the dog has already discovered the bottle and realized he had been tricked. He had no trouble establishing the location of his victim by overhearing the conversation on the radio, and Bella herself left a trail behind her and the chase. Only now Bella had no advantage. The ruthless dog moves too fast, even though it's injured limb. Bella barely has time to climb a tree, hoping to hide. But the dog finds her again, but can't get to her. But he can't get to her. Bella is trapped, as the steel dog didn't want to leave, but instead, the dog began to guard the tree in order to take the woman. As soon as she got down, there was nothing to be done to spend the night in the tree. As she fell asleep, Bella almost snapped, miraculously managed to grab hold of the last branch. The dog immediately The dog reacted, but Bella was lucky again. Luck was clearly on her side. She not only climbed back up, but also, thanks to the dark time of day, she was able to see the battery display of the steel dog, and the dog is battery powered. So naturally, she started discharging the robot by throwing candy at it from time to time. In the morning, when the dog was completely discharged and stopped responding, Bella decided to leave her hiding place, so she made her way to a large house, near which in the parking lot there was a perfectly usable car. Only it was locked, and the keys were probably are in the house, which is also locked, but Bella didn't give up. She managed to get the keys from the house through the hole in the door. Meanwhile, the robot dog has time to fully charge. It scans the tree, but finds no sign of Bella. But the trail she left behind points in the right direction, and the dog immediately goes after her. In the house, Bella desperately tries to find the car keys, looking through various drawers. And inside one of them, she finds ammunition from a shotgun, and the shotgun itself, a little while later, she finds it in the hands of one of the two completely rotten corpses in the upper room, and what she sees makes the heroine sickening despite her nausea and squeamishness. Bella has to take the gun from the dead man and search his pockets, where she finds the coveted keys. On the way to the car, a sharp pain pierces her wounded leg, and Bella decisions to stay in the house in order to. Bella decides to stay inside the house to tend to the wound, thereby missing out on precious minutes. She has no idea that the dog, the bringer of death, has already entered the house and armed himself with a sharp knife. In the kitchen, just as Bella turned off the water, she heard a distinctive sound. The dog is here and he has found her. In a panic, Bella hides behind the table covered with a tablecloth. The main thing now is not to make any noise. Maybe the robot will not find her, but no, the dog returns to the room where the woman is hiding, cornered Bella, not confused, and poured on the dog's steel head a bucket of paint. Losing vision, the disoriented dog rushes to the sound, but instead of living flesh, knife slices into the wall. While the dog was busy repair, Bella made her way to the car, but fortune had deserted the woman. The Range Rover would not. The Range Rover wouldn't start, so now Bella had no choice but to try to destroy the robot. She sets a trap for the dog by turning on the music in the car. A few minutes later, the robot dog comes out to the sound and disables both speakers, at which point Bella manages to sneak as close as possible to shoot at point-blank range. One shot wasn't enough, and while Bella was reloading the gun, the dog attacked her, cutting the woman's leg. The second shot knocks the robot out. The fight seemed over, but the dog had a trump card up his sleeve. Another module is blown out of his body, full of splinter bugs. A few of them hit Bella. A little while later, Bella's gonna to get rid of them, just like she did when the shrapnel was in her leg, but notices that one of them is in her vein. There's no point in fighting anymore. Bella decides not to wait for more dogs and puts the knife to her neck, the final chord in. The final chord of the story is the shot with the box. Or rather its contents, the teddy bears. The teddy bears that cost the lives of 3 people. Do you think Bella had a chance of surviving, and where she made a mistake? Comment your comments. That's it for me. Like this story if you like it and you're looking forward to the retelling of more stories. See you in future episodes.